Hi everyone, welcome to another video. Today I will be continuing my ongoing original character series and I will be talking about Luxu in today's video. He will be kicking off what I call my minor characters of this series. So for all of the characters leading up to today's video, I consider them to be major characters in the sense that they have been well developed in terms of their personality and their backstory. And now we are reaching the point of the series where I talk about characters that I haven't really used as much, and so they don't have as much of a personality or backstory or history fleshed out. So with that, I'm not sure if I'm able to talk about the characters for the entire duration of the video. So what's going to happen is I will share with you guys everything that I have for the character in terms of personality, character creation, history, and all of that. And then afterwards, if there's anything to note about the art process, I will do that. And following that, if there's extra time left over for the video, I will start talking about just kind of life updates and what's been going on, because I feel like a lot has really happened since the last time I was able to talk with you guys. So that's kind of the outline that I will be doing for this video as well as the rest of the videos for this series. So hopefully that is all right with you guys. As I had mentioned, today I will be talking about Luxu. He is actually a closed species called Elior, and that species belongs to the artist Raynor on DeviantArt. And since the creation of this character, I believe ownership for the species has now transferred to the artist Miss No Shame. So basically, for closed species, it's a species that an artist creates, and then if you want to create a character under that umbrella species, you need to obtain permission from the artist. So this is in contrast to an open species where an artist may create a species, but then anyone can create their own species and they do not need permission from the artist. The Elior are a closed species, and in terms of obtaining permission, this can be done in various ways. So one way is that the artist will kind of create characters and already have character designs done, and basically they either sell the designs or they auction them off, and then whoever is the highest bidder or pays for that design, then that character is now theirs to draw and create a backstory and personality within the limitations of whatever rules and guidelines that the artist has set for that species. You can also obtain these characters through what's called a make your own event. You can either buy a slot to create a character, or sometimes the artist will have a free event where you claim the slot and then create a character again under the guidelines that the artist has set forth. So I created Luxu during a free make your own event. I believe at the time the species had just been rolled out, and so they were really brand new, and they were hoping to kind of promote their species and get a lot of people involved and to kind of start building a community of artists who own a character of this species. So I claimed a slot, and I believe the rules for the make your own event was that you were allowed to have one uncommon trait when creating the character. So basically, as the name implies, make your own means that you claim a slot and then you're able to create your own character design while following the rules and guidelines that the artist may set in terms of what you're allowed or not allowed to do for creating the character. So I will post a picture on screen of what I guess the basic Elior design looks like. And for the traits that I had chosen, I was allowed one uncommon trait, and so I decided to give Luxu droopy ears, whereas the common trait would have been that they have upright ears, as you could see on the reference image on screen. And then everything else for him had to be a common trait. So I believe lack of wings is a common trait, and then the size and length of their tail is a common trait, and then the stars on the tail are another common trait. If you were to do an uncommon trait or even rare trait for those characteristics, you could, for example, give the Elior wings. They could be like bat wings, they could be angel wings. For the tail, if you upgraded to uncommon or rare traits, they could be braided tails or really thin wispy tails or maybe even short tails. And then if you chose an uncommon or rare trait for the sparkles on the tails, I believe they could have been like flowers or glitter or diamonds. As you could see, there are a lot of different traits and upgrades that you could have for the character design, and they're just different ways of obtaining such I think the most common way to have rare or uncommon traits for a close species is that you have to pretty much purchase the upgrade. And so that's pretty much how it works. Hopefully I explained that all right. If you guys have any questions about closed or open species, feel free to comment below and I will try to answer to the best of my abilities. So for Lushu's design, I actually wanted to go back to kind of my high school and junior high days where I had really done a lot of kind of tribal tattoo designs. I know that you can't really see them in this drawing because it's mostly all covered up by his clothes, but basically back in junior high and high school, I had a lot of fun doing tribal tattoo designs. I think they're just really fun to do because there's a lot of freedom in creating those designs because you're able to just start with a basic shape or an angle or circle or something and then just build off of that and really just go with it. So I kind of wanted to incorporate that with Lushu's design, and I will show a reference on screen of pretty much the character design that I had submitted when I had done this Make Your Own event. And I think the downside to me really enjoying creating really complex character designs is that it makes it really difficult to recreate these characters. So I don't draw Lushu that often, and when I do, obviously he's wearing clothes and so it covers up all of the markings, but I still think he has a really cool design. I'm just sad that I really don't have much of a story for him, especially because with the Elior species, they already have a lot of lore and backstory about the species created by Raynor, the artist, and so I don't really feel as tied to this character. Granted, I did create his design, but outside of that, it just feels really strange that I didn't really create him from scratch. Like, it was created using guidelines and a base that another artist had created, and he was actually one of my first closed species characters that I created. And now that I've had him for some time, I've realized, like, yeah, I really don't have a lot for him. And I think a lot of that is just because I don't feel very tied to his character. Again, because I didn't really create him. I just made his design following the guidelines that some artists set forth. And there's really nothing wrong with that. There are people who have a lot of closed species and they create very elaborate personalities and stories for them, which is super awesome. But for me, I think I just prefer to have my own characters created from scratch and using my own imagination without inspiration from other artists' species. I will put a link down below in the description if you guys are interested in reading more about the Elior, since the original artist did write very extensively about the lore of the species and just kind of the background of how the species came to be. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, feel free to check out the link down below. And with that, we are nearing the end of our video. So thank you again for watching. I hope you guys have been enjoying this series so far. I know that now that we are kind of talking about minor characters, it's probably not as interesting just because there's not as much personality and background for them. But definitely let me know down below in the comments if you have any suggestions or feedback about how these videos are going, since I do enjoy hearing from you guys. And I hope that you guys all are staying safe and healthy during these crazy times. If you are an essential worker, thank you so much for everything that you've been doing. I realize that this is not what you've signed up for, but I just want to say that I appreciate everything that you do. And if you are staying at home, please practice social distancing and good hand hygiene with washing your hands and just being mindful of what you're touching, and just following your governing body's guidelines for minimizing the spread and infectivity of this virus. So hopefully you guys are doing all right, and I will see you in the next video.